What's going on, y'all? This is your main man Sly here, and welcome back to another delicious Destiny video. This time, I hope everyone out there has their fat pants on because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. With the 2.4 update that we all downloaded on September 8th, there were a lot more changes to things than just the small stuff we can see, like ornaments, menu changes, Fellwinter's Peak, and the Plaguelands showing up on Earth. No. There are tons of behind-the-scenes changes that will affect how you play the game when Rise of Iron finally drops. Now, you may have noticed a few of them already, or at least that something isn't quite the way it used to be. So this time, I'm going to go over all the major changes that you, as a player, need to know about. These are mostly weapon changes, but there are a few subclass tweaks among other stuff. So, enough with the intro, let's dive right in, and hopefully I won't take up too much of y'all's time. Alright, ladies and gents, let's start with weapon perks. So first up, the perk Take a Knee now activates after crouching for half a second. Once activated, you will receive an added flinch reduction of 25%, and your ADS time, which is aiming down sights, also decreases by 25%. It used to only add bonus accuracy when crouched, so this is a big upgrade. Exhumed added an extra 5 seconds of effect time. It was 10, but it's upped to 15. Exhumed is where you gained improved range and handling after being revived. Cascade, this perk used to increase the reload speed after a melee kill, but it's not anymore. It's changing function to melee kills now auto-reload a portion of your magazine. Surplus is next. It used to be a perk that increased the drop rate of ammo. Now it increases carried ammo capacity. The next perk we have is Grave Robber. Increased activation chance to 25%. It was at 20. Grave Robber is the perk where you have a chance to refill the magazine after a melee kill. Guerrilla Fighter, the one that everyone hates, increased stability and range bonuses by 200%. This is also a very big improvement, even though no one ever uses it. Alright, next let's talk about the magazine perks. First, all of them now improve your range. Armor Piercing Rounds adds +4 range and -4 handling. High Caliber Rounds adds +3 range, -5 handling, and finally Skip Rounds adds +5 range, -3 handling, and +5 inventory. This is huge for snipers. Only for the extra shots, but added range will also be very, very useful on hand cannons. Finally, the Unflinching perk has been reduced. Unflinching is a perk where your crosshairs move a little less than normal when you get hit by a bullet. It was at 25%, now it's down to 15%. And so while we're on aiming, they're taking another hit to tone down sniper rifles. If you don't have Unflinching as a perk, your deflection amount, which is the amount your crosshairs moves by when zoomed in, your strength started at 30% deflection on your first hit. That is now moved up to 50% deflection and will increase by a certain amount for every consecutive bullet until you hit 100% max deflection. Basically, what this means is that when you're zoomed in on an opponent and they hit you while you're lining up a shot, the amount of scope movement will be almost double the amount it used to be. Not quite, but it's pretty close. And on top of that, they slightly increase the amount of movement you receive after the first landed shot. So the more bullets landed, the more it'll throw off your aim. Alright, well that was all the changes to perks itself. Now let's dive into the weapon categories. And while we're on sniper rifles, let's just keep pounding them into the dirt. So sniper rifles, the high impact snipers are the most utilized in Destiny. And you know what that means. Bungie no likey. Technically guys, 1,000 yard stare, LDR, longbow, her fury, all of those are considered medium high impact. And Bungie wants them to be brought down just a little bit. So the 1,000 yard stare family of snipers have been reduced in damage basically by 7%. It's actually 6.95 in total, but we can basically call that 7. Also, reduced target acquisition for the LDR and the longbow to bring them back in line with the other snipers in that mid-high family. So what does this mean? Well, it means that LDR, longbow, 1,000 yard stares, Irene, all those mid-high sniper impact category can no longer reliably kill guardians while using their supers. However, this does not apply to everyone. Only guardians with high amounts of armor can escape this. If you focus on more agility than armor, you can still one-shot guardians while they're using their super or in their super, so keep that in mind. Only the Black Spindle, which is the only weapon in the high impact category, can reliably snipe all guardians while they're in their super state, regardless of armor or agility. This also means that some of those same weapons will have a harder time taking down knights with one shot while battling orcs in Kingsfall, so prepare to shoot twice for each knight. Okay, next up, let's talk about ARs, auto rifles. Now, not much has changed, but the middle rate of fire auto rifles like Red Spectres, Hack-On Hatchet, Monte Carlo, etc., they received a small buff of 1.5%. Also, the high rate of fire weapons like the Doctrine of Passing, Soul Stealer, etc., they have reduced magazine sizes. Moving right along, shotguns are on the block next, and there are a few welcome changes here, guys. Increased high rate of fire and middle low rate of fire shotgun damage by 2%. Shotguns with full auto on them had a bullet spread penalty. This was reduced just a little bit. Also, Mobius, the Titan-only legendary, has decreased spread while in ADS and received a small amount of zoom increase. Also, its base stability has been increased by 60%. That is an absolutely huge amount. Next, we're looking at the pulse rifles, and since they've already been nerfed into the dirt the past few years, there isn't much here as well. It's just increased fire rate for the Ludmilla D and the medium rate of fire pulse rifles like No One's Mercy, Bad Juju, etc. They receive a small buff of 2% extra damage. A very welcome change, let's just hope it's enough. Okay, so the next one, it's a big one, sidearms. So it is hard to tell, but there are sidearms that shoot faster with less impact, and some that shoot slower with higher impact. All Hake sidearms receive a 3% damage increase for the lowest rate of fire, and a huge 7% increase in damage for the faster rate of fire. However, my favorite sidearms, the Queen's Choice, which is a non-hit scan weapon like the Vestian Dynasty, receives a 5% nerf. So on top of those changes, and everything else you just heard, all sidearms will receive a base stability increase, as well as an extra half meter added to their base range before damage starts to fall off. Also, sidearms in PvE will receive a 20 to 30% damage increase, and that depends on the type of enemy you're shooting at. That is freaking awesome, guys. Lastly, you might notice that your sidearm rate of fire might look a little bit different, but it hasn't changed. Rise of Iron is introducing 2 new weapon types in the sidearm category that shoot faster, so the entire class has been squished in representation to accommodate these 2 new speeds. Alright, next up, let's go ahead and talk about them rockets. Pretty simple here. Cluster bombs on rockets receive an explosive damage range boost so that you don't see numbers like, 5 or 10 popping up. And also, grenade and horseshoes has been nerfed, not by damage, but by activation range. Grenades and horseshoes is a perk that allows you to shoot a rocket in a general area and will detonate if it flies by an enemy close enough. It's already been nerfed once and now it's happening again. The activation range was 1.3 meters, but that is being lowered down to just 1 meter. So your rocket has to fly by your opponent within 1 meter, otherwise it will just keep going. However, Truth gets to stay OP and is not affected by this change. Alright, while we're on weapons, machine guns also get a nice little boost. They increase the damage output of high rate of fire machine guns by 4%, and that's it. The other class of weapons like hand cannons, fusion rifles, they only had UI changes and bug fixes. Nothing is actually changing their behavior, so let's just keep on trucking, and that means it is time to dive into exotics. First, let's get the big ones out of the way before everyone here falls asleep. Touch of Malice. This is a huge one, guys. Blessings of Light will now be removed immediately once you get down to 1 bullet. Also, this hasn't officially been published, but Sleeper Simulant can no longer stun orcs like it used to, and it takes more than 1 shot to down Golgoroth's bubbles. The amount of bouncing has been limited and fixed on certain textures, so it's going to take a few shots from here on out. Alright, well, with that out of the way, let's speed through the rest of these, and first up, we're going to talk about the Fabian strategy. Increase base range by 16% and stability by 44%. Also a big number. Kills with this weapon now automatically reload a portion of the magazine. I played around with it a couple days ago. It's a nice change, it's fun to use, but still, I don't think it's going to be enough to actually get this weapon into the masses. Okay, Thorn is up next, and with its comeback into Year 3, nobody wants a repeat of Year 1. So there is just, just a slight reduction of 25% range. I mean, no big deal, right? It's only a hand cannon. It doesn't have range to begin with, so let's just nerf it by, 25%. Who cares? That's huge, guys. 25% range reduction on Thorn, which has already seen a huge range reduction in the first place. That's a big hit, so let's just see how that turns out. Okay, so something I've been seeing coming the moment they tamed shotguns by removing shot package and nerfing rangefinder. Universal Remote Exotic Perk gives it ass loads of range, and it's definitely no longer a secret. So the exotic perk that gives range bonus has been reduced by 75%. That is also huge, guys. On top of that, they increased the rate of fire, so that bumps Universal Remote into a totally different category. And since it's in a new category, it will also have less damage than before, so it falls in line with the others. This is a huge blow to Universal Remote. I'm willing to bet that you guys won't see this gun for a long while now until it gets fixed. Okay, 3 more to go, guys. Hang in there. Let's talk about that promise that you made to that Dreg. They are still trying to revive this weapon. Dreg's promise: increase damage by 8% and increase mag size by 3. I don't know, we'll see. Next up, Boo-Boolean Gemini added high caliber rounds as an intrinsic perk. So you won't actually see it in the perk tree, it's built into the weapon itself, kind of like the way Mida Multi-Tool used to be. You'll see enemies flinch a lot harder from now on, and the Gemini, it was always a decent weapon. Let's just see what this can do for it. Finally, the last one on our list is No Time to Explain. It gets an intrinsic perk as well. Headseeker is now added as an automatic feature. Headseeker is the perk where body shots increase the amount of damage of your next critical hit. Alright guys, rejoice! Weapons are finally complete, and that means only a few more things left to talk about on the list. First, we're going to talk about some shoulder charge. Somehow, it was excluded from the official patch notes, but nothing stays hidden in Destiny for long. So, Titans out there, shoulder charge activation has been increased by a full second. Attack speed and tracking has been reduced, and if you wear the Mark 44 stand-asides, they're taking off a full 4 seconds of time. So that pretty much means the exotic Titan boots will now only give you a few extra seconds to shoulder charge, and that pretty much renders them totally useless. This change was supposed to be put into effect to combat the new artifact that removes sprint lock. Shoulder charging, it's always been annoying, but so are firebolt grenades, so are smoke bomb and throwing knives. That's a huge chunk out of a defining subclass characteristic. Striker, shoulder charge. That's just how it goes. What I'm worried about the most are shotgun sliders. Sprint lock is here to make sure people don't just run and slide all over the map. This is exactly what Rise of Iron is introducing. So here we go. Slides prediction for meta, shotgun sliders, and sidearms. You're going to see them everywhere. Yay! Alright, last thing, guys, you should know about are changes to public events. Every time you complete a public event and receive gold tier, you're going to receive a bunch of different things. You get a legendary engram, 15 planetary materials, 15 legendary marks, 5 motes of light, 4,000 XP for gear, subclass, or for leveling, 25 Vanguard rep, and a chance at an exotic shard. This is a huge improvement, y'all. This stuff is awesome. But the changes will not occur until September 20th when Rise of Iron actually launches. Right now, you only earn XP, faction reps, and 5 motes of light. If you complete another public event and get gold in the same day, you'll receive 200 Glimmer, between 2 and 5 planetary materials, a chance at 1 to 2 motes of light, 1.5 thousand XP for leveling towards gear, 25 Vanguard rep, and a random green or blue engram. So, if you didn't get gold and you get silver, it's only 100 Glimmer, 2 to 3 planetary materials, and 750 XP. Bronze is 50 Glimmer, 1 to 2 PMATs, and 500 XP. So pretty much, guys, if you don't get gold, just go ahead and leave. Do it another time. This is a huge incentive to do patrols, at least for the first few minutes of each day. It's a great thing to look for when completing bounties, and I am definitely looking forward to it. Alright, Guardians, that does it. The list is finally complete, and those are all the major changes to weapons, subclasses, and activities. Now, I made a video of all the physical things you can see in 2.4, but this right here is all stuff that happens behind the scenes, and knowing what's changed is a good way to stay ahead of the game on September 20th. But if you don't believe these blasphemous lips, you can always head over to Bungie.net and cruise over to the news section. It's all there under Update 2.4 patch notes. Alright guys, as always, thank you guys so much for watching and for supporting the smaller YouTuber. If you want to stay up to date on everything Destiny, Rise of Iron, or The Division, follow me on Twitter at SlyNation. It's the best way to stay in the know about breaking news, discoveries, or new vids coming out of my channel. Keep an eye out for Twitter as my giveaway will be happening any day now, and that is my Twitter giveaway only. The YouTube one is still September 16th. So if you want to enter my Twitter giveaway, keep an eye on Twitter the next few days. It will be coming very soon. Keep those eye holes open, but until then, this is your boy Sly. Done, gone, out.